Hey, it's a new world, gotta adapt to it. Innovation, information, more than the average. Rushing, please ignore the interruptions, cause this is digital discussions.
To share with everyone the EXP commercial platform. We're super excited today with a very, very special guest that you will see, a legend in the industry. So we are excited to get through about EXP's Commercial Explains platform and to get to our interview of our very special guest. So as everyone knows, EXP's commercial platform is virtual. And with this, like a lot of disruptive change, you know, with blockbusters, you see Netflix, with the retail shopping, you see Amazon, and we are known to be called the Amazon of real estate. So we are really excited and living up to the expectations of being this virtual, online, no brick and mortar platform. So it's super, super exciting. One other big thing is we are not a franchise. We are one corporate company, one commercial company. And Stephanie, you know, with the franchise, I know you've owned one before, and there is a big difference by being one corporate brokerage company versus a franchise. Steph?
That's absolutely right, Jim. You know, for some of us and most of us that have been owners of our own brokerage, our limitations are always set with the silo that we are doing business in. And with EXP, we are a global company with absolutely no boundaries. Because we're able to save on that overhead of the brick and mortars throughout the countries and different states, because we are not that franchise where we're independently owned and operated, and we truly are that global company, we can utilize that and give that expense right back to the agents. And that is what we're all about. We're an agent-owned company, and we want to put more money in agents' pockets. The other important thing is when people plug in to EXP Commercial, which our guest today, Jayson Siano, is going to tell us all about what he saw in this, it is plugging into over 50,000 opportunities immediately for you to receive commercial referrals, commercial real estate business, to network throughout the United States and 13 other countries as we're expanding into 21 additional countries this year. We are able to, the masses, be able to come in our online world and collaborate with each other. Just like our live trainings that we completed last week, where over 8,000 people were able to register, learn about commercial real estate, learn about product specialty types, and give business back and forth to one another. It is amazing.
Stephanie, with the amazing platform, you know, the way we communicate, the way we collaborate, cooperate, work with each other. I mean, listings, referrals, opportunities are nonstop. And that's why I want to call them opportunities to meet new people, that you can mentor, people that want to refer business of all different types, from the residential, the leasing, the transaction, the business opportunities. I mean, you name it. There are so many opportunities as we are growing so fast with over 52,000 agents worldwide and constantly growing around the world with all of these other parts, sharing information, collaborating. And I always just say, all you have to do is to reach out. But our value proposition here is phenomenal, that we're an 80-20 split, capping at $20,000. And if you do make $500,000 gross, I mean, I know you are a 4-time icon, maybe 5-time. You're just an icon your entire life. But Stephanie, can you say what the monthly is and kind of all the different services that you get for that monthly fee that we pay?
Absolutely. And once again, we go back to being this national and global company. So we're able to use that buying power to go to our business partners like Reonomy and Build Out Elite and Crexy and all the different tools that we offer to get the best discounts, so that for $250 a month, you get rid of all of that overhead. Build Out Elite is $870 per license. Reonomy is $500 per license. Those two alone are included in just this $250 a month, which every single day we are demonstrating other technology, because we know where commercial real estate has been headed. Now it's time for everybody to adopt. But that is why for the $250 a month, these are the tools you get. And one of the things that you're going to see added on to this later today is AIR CRE. Those forms have been established in 7 states up until this point. with our partnership with them, we have been able to get AIR forms created for all 50 states. At eXp Commercial, our licensees do not pay AIR $600 a year for that licensing program that downloads to their computer. We have every AIR form in our transaction SkySlope office online, so that any type of commercial real estate deal you do, you have a form and a contract already pre-made for you. And that includes business brokering too, Jim. And we all know about business brokering. A lot of traditional real estate companies, they don't touch that. We absolutely do, because it works hand in hand with commercial real estate.
And Stephanie, you know, with all the amazing tools, and we're constantly adding more, right? Just when you see on the 3 pages, we can't actually keep up with all the different tech sponsors and partners that want to collaborate with us, that we are going to put a bigger list together. So for those that do transactions, for those that do listings, for those that do business ops, for those that want to organize, put your OM, your proposal package, to those that want to market, to those that want to, you know, blast out with social media. Literally, we're putting all the different technology companies together. So for whatever you're working on and whatever your expertise is, we will have the tools with the $250, but then the a la carte you could add on. So we're constantly adding services and adding more to our technology, adding more to the resources that we have at eXp Commercial. But because we are agent-centric, right, Steph?
Absolutely. And, you know, when I owned my own brokerage, and Jim, you shared this exact same story. It was hard for us to go to these big companies that provide data and try to get them down to a price point that made sense for our brokerage. And here we're able to do that, because across the country, the average commercial real estate brokerage is 17 agents. That's it. And so you can't get the buying power that we're able to do when we've got over 50,000 global agents that we are tapping into this market and being able to pass that right on. You mentioned Icon a few moments ago, and, you know, our equity opportunities. Agents are shareholders of this company. We are all in business together. We are all business partners growing the same model and making sure that we're all successful. And one of my favorite stories to share, because it's so powerful, is that a little over 3 years ago today, I was faced with all these different brands wanting to purchase my company. And the check was on the table, and it was a good check, but that check was one payday. It was me taking that money right then and there, and me having to be married to that brand, owned by that brand for another decade, still growing and running that company. And I didn't like that, because what if I got in and I didn't like the brand? What we enable here at eXp is for all business owners like myself to not worry about that one payday, but to come over, run your business on our vehicle that we have built for you. You drive it the way you want, but the entire time you are earning ownership. In 3 years, I have earned an additional $1 million in stock over what my buyout would have been to one of those franchises in just 3 years. I got rid of that overhead. I got rid of that liability. I'm still building and growing my business throughout the entire country of the United States. And I am a shareholder of this company, which has over an $8 billion worth. And that is so much more powerful, Jim, than what you or I or so many other brokerages could do on their own, right?
Exactly. You know, and Stephanie, when I always go back and I always reverse engineer and plug in, I always like to see what opportunities did I miss and why should I start now? And I put in all the numbers together and I said, wow, you know, with the firm that I owned before, which is a really good regional boutique firm, you know, we had over 180 commercial agents at it, but with me spending all my time trying to run it, instead of doing what I should have done, which is organizing, you know, speaking in front, doing all this stuff instead of the operational, logistical liability part, I should have done what I was doing well. And with this platform, this is the best. So I look back, thousands of agents that we turned through, looking back with the revenue share by just doing what we do, training new agents, attracting agents to join our company, it keeps on growing. I've told some friends at a very large firm, when I look back, now this is almost 20 years from now, he literally trained 2/3 of the office. And I joking around, I said, so what did they give you for training 2/3 of the office? Because he trained all of them. His juniors trained everyone. And I said, what did you get? He goes, I got a plaque. I said, well, wouldn't you rather have $500,000 or more than a plaque for training and a title? I said, you know, you really got to look at our model, because if you're there and you're a great trainer, a great mentor, a great teacher, you should plug into our model because of the revenue share, just by sharing our platform with people. And Steph, I know you know this really well with the rev share plan.
And here's the thing, you know, people have said to me, well, isn't it multi-level? Isn't it this? Isn't it that? And I say, no, it's very simple. I was a broker owner. My agents all paid me a split. I paid the overhead. I kept the lights on. I kept the innovation happening. In our model, every single agent has the ability to sit in that owner's chair, collect the overrides off of the agents they introduce into this business without the overhead, without the liability, without having to cut the commission checks and do the taxes, without having to be the innovator and the person that maintains all the technology and all of that. That's what's so beautiful about this, because we all in our previous times were at other real estate companies where we brought people to that company because our friends getting into the business wanted to do business with us, right? In this model, it's the same concept, except you get paid. You get a piece of the pie. We're agent centric. And the only way for all of us to own in this business, to be shareholders, is for all of us to reap the rewards as agents come in and produce real estate. And that's what this is. So it is tremendous. It's beautiful. Jim, I know we touched on it earlier, but let's just share the moment that you stepped into EXP world, and when thousands of people you spoke, I mean, just share what that was like for you the very first time.
Stephanie, truly amazing. Because, you know, I grew up in the gaming type, right? And so all of us, we didn't have video games then. And then when video games came out and everything else, we said, wow. And we see, you know, with the rise of really the website, right? In the early 90s, websites popped up, and everyone always says, well, you know what? You don't need it. Well, now everyone has it, right? And a lot of these technology, you got to be forward thinking. You got to be creative. But this is just the start of a virtual world. How do you think we could have trained over 8,800 people coming in? And it's not linear, where it's just one person talking. People can move off, talk to each other, train, get out of the room, talk to each other in a breakout. It is amazing because there's many different ways. And with technology, it's constantly improving, constantly getting better, that there's going to be so many more applications, that this is a great way to bring the entire world to collaborate, to train, to educate, to network, without always jumping on the plane. I told you, you know, I just hate starting to travel again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm spending 2 to 3 hours getting to a meeting. You know, that I literally could just jump on a Zoom, as much as, you know, we did enough Zoom, but driving 2 to 3 hours, you know, I could have done, as you know, you and I do almost 15 to 30 minutes on the hour, kind of doing calls. But with that, it saves so much time. It's so efficient to use this tool too, in addition to everything else you do. But I love the world. And I know it is one of the big disruptors and change agents of how business will be done, just like Zoom.
Absolutely. And in the world last week, when we did our training with the over 8,800 people that attended, not only was there somebody from every state in the United States, but we had people from over 13 different countries represented in our world, our virtual world, listening to over 30 speakers from all over the country, educating us, training us, talking about so many different things, from the 1031 to the DSTs to the tax. I mean, you name it, you know, it's powerful. But the biggest thing is we're all in there able to do it without having to figure out a venue or to set up the expense of an event, to all travel to it. So it is extremely powerful. It's how we operate, and it's how we're able to pull off more than 50 hours of live training every single week. You know, we all come into this business. I'm one of them. When I came to EXP, you know, massive mega producing agent, ran a great real estate business. You know, I didn't need to learn anything. Not so much the case, because here we get we get to meet people out of New York City. We get to meet, people in California. Different parts of the country do things differently. And I'm so grateful because I have learned so much about how I can coach my real estate team better to explode in this industry. And so that is what is so immediately important. Jim, I love you telling this story, and I love James Davis's story on this healthcare.
Well, and this is the thing, because our company is so agent-centric with the healthcare, and this was a problem for me as owner, right? Broker owners and employers. We loved our employees. We loved our team. It was family. And we were worried about looking at different ways that we could help our team, get through it, whatever it could be. And when I saw the eXp Healthcare, and a lot of my friends that joined eXp Commercial looked at it, and I know that there's a website you can look at it and test it. Everyone came back to me, goes, Jim, the $250 we're paying is free. I'm saving 30 to 40% using the eXp Healthcare for my family, and I'm saving 30 or 40%. So in a way, I'm joining for eXp free because of this savings. And this is always the biggest thing, right? Health is wealth. You need to keep it good, but not being able to buy or pay for healthcare because it's so expensive is really dangerous and scary, right? So it is so important that the company is always looking for ways to help the agents, right? Stay healthy, always improving themselves. Like you said, the 50 hours of education, nonstop improvement and collaboration, but with the healthcare, it is so important because it allows you to have that peace of mind with your family so you can work a hard day's work. That's why I love about 30 to 40%. I would tell anyone, if you're not with eXp now, come check it out.
Absolutely. And Jim, workplace that we utilize, which is another way that we are all in one spot, collaborating and sharing information with one another. This is a powerful tool because what we've done is, even though eXp Commercial is a separate brokerage from eXp Realty, we have created a workplace for the two to communicate and talk and refer business back and forth. And I've said this every single week that we've been on to update and to make sure that people are aware. I love it when someone posts one of their listings and all of a sudden you get 7, 8 responses in just seconds saying, I've got your buyer right now. Or when a residential agent posts, I have a 182 multifamily apartment complex potential listing, and I need a eXp Commercial broker to list this, to refer this to. And you see $272 million worth of referrals just last week alone, going back and forth between the two entities. And that's what's so impressive when it comes to being able to connect immediately with those 50,000+ opportunities in workplace.
And Stephanie, this is another thing. So as we're at eXp Commercial, we're always innovating, connecting, making sure that we're giving the best information all times. We always have 2 national meetings every month. So we share what's the updates, share the best speakers, best practices, what's going on in the industry, right? So we're constantly in communication, letting people know. Love the product type specialists. Right now, some of the people are doing their third product type specialist with the multifamily, retail, office, industrial, land, cannabis, leasing, business op. It is so exciting where those particular specialties are getting together, sharing their knowledge, like you said, collaborating all around the country in the local markets, talking about their deals, sharing off-market needs and wants, figuring out how they could do more business. And that's where everyone, I always say, you should go in. If you have a special property type specialist, you join that group. Or if you're curious about it and you're new, you always want to take a look to see. And just like today, we're doing eXp Commercial Explained with interviews of top-notch agents and broker owners that are coming over to eXp to share their story, and also our conference. But this is the live thing that we're going to do. We are going to come to a city near you where we're starting to roll out, going to different cities. And I'll say the first one will be in Arizona, Scottsdale. So if you are a commercial agent, please reach out to us. We do want to invite you to our commercial meeting where you're going to see eXp Commercial having their meetings in different metropolitan cities or different cities. And then we will start launching our broker forum in every city. So it is exciting, Steph, that we're always doing something collaborative. But for you, can you introduce our next guest speaker?
Oh, Jim, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And this has been a bit long coming. For those of you who don't know Jayson Siano, I'm telling you, this is a guy that I immediately understood and got. The passion for the commercial real estate industry, the disruption in the way he advertises and markets, to where the ability for him to not only take his clients into the situation of representation for where they need to go for their commercial real estate, but the way they also rely on Jayson for the marketing, because he is so just over the top, very, I say it's disruptive, but it's an influencer. There is so many of the original people that think that traditional commercial real estate brokerage will always be the same. And I think Jayson adapted to knowing that was not the case over a decade ago. And so without further ado, Jayson, our newest company that has joined eXp Commercial with his entire team across the United States. Jayson, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody, I know we're all excited. We're going to be living on this cloud nine environment because it's so exciting for a long, long time. But just tell everyone who you are, where you started from, and what you've done in this business, because it truly is remarkable.
Well, listen, thank you first and foremost. You're thanking me. I think I should be thanking you guys for this opportunity, because, I'm in the industry for 20 years, started at a smaller boutique office in New York. And early on, I realized that, there had to be a better way in commercial real estate. Yesterday was a big day for me. It was my mother's birthday, and I lost my mom 20 years ago, right when I started in the industry. And it was a very challenging time for me in life. And when I started out in commercial real estate, shortly after that loss, I kind of realized just how difficult it was, not only to get ahead, but just to survive. And so for me, it really became a passion where I want to make the most impact that I can on the industry. And I realized, after going from that smaller boutique firm to one of the largest global commercial real estate companies later on in 2007, where I had a contract, I also realized that there were some amazing things that were going on at that organization, but there were also a lot of things like red tape and different things that were done a certain way because of the environment and the culture at the company. And so that's what inspired me to create Sabre 10 years into my career, where I felt that, we could do something that was basically the best practices from both a smaller boutique firm, a large, corporate giant, marry the two and create an environment that didn't exist in the commercial real estate space prior. And we did that. And, a lot of folks get into the business, and it's a very non-innovative, non-tech driven industry. And it really boggles my mind how far ahead the residential industry is to commercial. And, that's always been very interesting to me. And Stephanie, thank you for, talking about the innovation and calling me a thought leader in the space. But it's really, it's looking at the residential industry. It's looking at industries that have nothing to do with real estate, getting the inspiration, the education, bringing it back and figuring out how I can provide more impact and help more people have a better opportunity on a move forward basis. I started after I started Sabre about 5 years in, I decided that, I needed to really up the ante and start leveraging social media. And I was actually in online advertising for a brief stint before I got into commercial real estate. And I've always and real estate and marketing go hand in hand. But again, residential really does a much better job than commercial. So initially, when I started to think about EXP, a lot of people in the commercial space look at residential and don't grab the same inspiration that I do. They look at it as just a different world that has no relevance. And so when people initially to me were starting to say, yeah, but can a company that's been successful in residential transition to commercial? That's when I started to really get excited about this opportunity, because the things that I did 5 years ago, like walk around the streets of New York City with a videographer following me, at the time in commercial real estate, were like it was as if I was on Mars, and most of the industry was looking at me from Earth like, but Jay, why? You're in real estate. Like, what's up with this video thing? And now fast forward 5 years later, doing it day in and day out nonstop, everybody's finally starting to adopt those different things that have had such an amazing impact on myself, on Sabre, on the digital army, on everything that I'm involved in, again, to better the commercial real estate industry. So Stephanie, Jim, to answer the initial, question for everybody watching this, I got a lot of people reaching out to me, Jay, why did you need EXP, so on and so forth. I don't need EXP. I just know that I'm going to be able to grow Sabre into a much larger organization on the platform, and that we're going to pour gasoline on this whole thing. And to the folks out there that may not understand what's going on right now, I'm telling you, this is me starting a vlog 5 years ago when nobody understood what I was doing. And that's what's so exciting to me about joining this family here.
Absolutely. And Jay, this is what because this is what I want people to really see. If they've never followed you or heard of you or looked you up, obviously they're not in the digital space because you're famous there, right? You've done a great job at that. But talk about your clientele. Talk about the volume of your clientele, because your resume in who you represent, is impressive, and it speaks for itself.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, I by the way, people don't realize that I'm not just playing on social media all day. I'm actually running a sizable business and representing, some of the top brands across the country. And, I'll start at the beginning, when I got to the first company, I was given a desk and a phone and a Hagstrom map. And like most people in the industry, right? It's like, here you go. Go drive the market. Best of luck. We'll see you at the end of the week. Tell us what you did and so on. And it's like, really, how do you actually, again, how can you achieve success in an industry like that? Oh, and wait, by the way, you're a 1099, you eat what you kill, you have no health insurance, blah, 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 right? So that's why, Jim, when you're talking about health insurance, right, that's a major sticking point for me, because I did not have access to health insurance for the first 5 years, almost 6 years that I was in the business. And I don't think anybody should be in that position. And most, that is a very challenging thing with the nature of commercial real estate. Not everybody has access to health insurance. It's a very important thing. So, I fortunately, with God's will, was able to somehow land the Starbucks account in 2003. And quite honestly, I was not at all qualified at that time to actually represent a company and a brand like Starbucks Coffee. But they gave me an opportunity, and being always the hardest worker in the room, I don't know, I'm in a new room now, so I should be careful. And by the way, it's a virtual room. I prefer this room. So, I of course, worked day in and day out, 7 days a week, would be in the office till 1 a.m., 2 a.m., because I didn't really have, by the way, I didn't have a parachute, I didn't have a safety net, so for me, it was very sink or swim. So I spent the time and energy to become the best tenant rep broker I could possibly be, representing one of arguably the best companies to be a tenant rep broker for. And that really was, enabled me to go out, get the skills and the confidence, and learn through that Starbucks platform, which a lot of other very successful commercial real estate brokers that represent companies like Starbucks learn how to just be the best you could possibly be. And by the way, I've trained a lot of people under that platform. And I'd like to say we still represent Starbucks exclusively today, 17, 18 years later. So from there, I actually ended up pitching. I stumbled upon a little company called Chipotle at the time, and same time around 2003. And I ended up pitching that business and landing the Chipotle account in 2003, 2004, bringing them to my market, designing their expansion strategy, working directly with Steve Ells, the founder. And then, from there, I had the good fortune of repeating that type of an experience for many different brands. My friends who I was representing in a multi-unit development project for Massage Envy back in 2007 ended up starting a little company called Orange Theory Fitness. So I had the good fortune of working with Orange Theory from their first location, helping them design the national expansion strategy, different on the franchise side than it is on the corporate side. But we do both. And I'd like to say really, really well, because we understand that, real estate is an art and a science. I also, based on what I just said, want to point out that on a move forward basis, people in the tired traditional legacy commercial real estate world that are waiting for everything to get back to normal are going out of business every day. And right. I think it's really, really important that people understand that there is a new way of doing things. Doesn't mean you have to get rid of the old traditional ways that made you successful up until the pandemic or, as things were evolving. But you do have to pay attention to new modern ways of doing business, kind of marry the two. And that's when you're going to go, to different levels that other people don't even, know are possible. And I think, EXP is really the first example of a platform that I was able to jump into that gives me so many tools and resources that I can actually introduce to other people. And at the end of the day, at this stage of my life, in my career, again, it's about helping other people of all experience levels in all locations, all geographies, be better humans. And I like to say I'm in the human development business. I also happen to do real estate really, really, really well. And I think that's how, that I've brought the walls down in the commercial real estate industry because we really, truly believe in collaboration over competition. I don't really believe that I have any competition in the space. I think that we're doing things in such an innovative way. And again, I'm so happy that as a result of this partnership, we're going to be able to do that in such a bigger way than ever before.
Oh, absolutely. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, you brought back nightmares the old-fashioned way. Here's a desk. Here's a Thomas guide. Go map it out. Go figure it out. And obviously, you made it. You make it in New York. You can make it anywhere. But with this platform, I'm super excited that you see it. You've always been forward-thinking. What do you see that you're going to do to expand your business, not only locally and nationally, but internationally now with this platform?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've been growing across the country for many years now, but we've been doing it, with like Scotch tape and bubble gum, and and we've been doing a great job at it, even that way. But let's be honest, right? I mean, the fact that we have access to licensing across the board here, and no state essentially is off limits for me to go recruit talent in. And since we very much, if I'm working with a company or folks on my team are working with a company, we're working from the top down, typically with the founders and the C-suites at that company, and then we're managing the entire relationship and running the strategy across the whole country. So what we're able to provide for people is the opportunity to jump into really exciting, again, large company accounts like a Starbucks coffee, or, exciting emerging concepts like Solid Core or Squeeze, the Feel Good Company, which is the founders of Dry Bar. We're very fortunate to be surrounded by these sexy brands and understand really, how to convert DTC brands, direct to consumer brands, into brick and mortar, and all things that are super relevant in the future. But most importantly, Jim, for me, it's the agent first model where I truly don't believe, and guys, there's plenty of hours of videos where I actually say, episode 100, I think, of Real Sabre, you should go to Sabre Real Estate's YouTube channel and check out in episode 100, I say that in the next 12 to 18 months, the world is going to be disrupted in a major way. And if you're not innovating, if you're not future-proofing yourself, you're going to be in jeopardy and so on and so forth. The pandemic hit 15 months from that statement. It's on video. I'm not Nostradamus, but I did know that obviously the world would change in an election year, et cetera, et cetera. I've been speaking this way for a very, very long time because I understand that the commercial real estate space is very ripe for disruption. And, everybody knows that it's going to get disrupted by things, and something's going to come along, and technology is going to change how the gatekeeper of information is no longer as important as they used to be. That's happened in residential, right? That hasn't really happened in commercial. So the minute that you add data and provide access to all types of information for everybody, the role of a broker or an advisor is going to change drastically. So I think that's something that everybody needs to think about. And Jim, to answer your question, yes, the rev share is awesome. To me, that sprinkles on the sundae, right? But the fact that I can offer agents the opportunity to earn wealth in the commercial real estate space beyond the commission hamster wheel and having to literally just live paycheck to paycheck, that's what people don't talk about as much in the commercial real estate space.
Right.
Everybody likes to just act as if they make all the money in the world, they have the best life, and so on and so forth. Plenty do, by the way. And, shout out to everybody who's been able to break through and make a very good living in our industry. And there's plenty of them. And by the way, I'm not suggesting everybody needs to use social media, but I do think that you need to use it in some certain way. It's handshaking at scale. So it's networking, on steroids. But I do think that on a move forward basis, we're looking at the pandemic accelerated everything that was already happening by 7 to 10 years, right? So what's going to happen now on a move forward basis is, the world's going to change at a much faster pace than it did previously. And I know that this platform and offering agents the opportunity to not only earn their commissions the same way that they were previously, but now earn stock in an $8 billion company on top of that and enjoy the rev share to whatever extent they want to focus on it, right? That's how I see it. So, to answer the questions about is it a MLM? Is it this? Is it that? It's something different. It's not, is the first answer. But the reality is this is a platform set up for the individual, right? And big global corporate commercial real estate giants keep the individual down. That's a problem, right? Not only keep them down, they intentionally do not want the younger people in the industry to climb the ladder because they have a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset, where they think that if somebody young lands a new client, that they're actually now taking something off their plate and taking away opportunity from them. I'm one of the very few people in the industry that looks at it with a completely 180 approach from that. I think that there's enough to go around. Everybody can win. And the individual is the future of commercial real estate is about the individual agent. You know how many people have joined me from the large firms because the large firms will not allow them to use social media? The future of commercial real estate brokerage is developing a personal brand, using social media, and doing the best possible job you can on behalf of your client. It's about doing the right thing, people. And guess what? Using social media puts a magnifying glass on whether or not you're actually doing the right thing or not. So, in my opinion, people are trying to hide stuff that they don't want to, expose per se, by not actually allowing more awareness and more eyeballs on, which is obviously the best thing for your client. If you have a property to sell, are you only going to put out email blasts where I get 150 emails an hour? Am I going to be able to see, everything the same way that we were able to see back in 2001 when I started in the business? No, you have to evolve with the industry. And I just want to give you guys a lot of respect, and turn it back to you to thank you for the opportunity to help grow this platform.
Jay, from the first day that I ever spoke to you on the phone, I love your passion and your drive, and it's so accurate. And you're right about the big guys or the bigger companies wanting to push the agent down. It's all about, the more those agents learn and the better they get, they're going to leave. They're going to jump ship because they're going to get smarter than that. And so I love that you commented on that. Talk to us before we go. Talk to us about the digital army and what you've created there, because that just blows my mind.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so I've been traveling the country for the last 5 or 6 years, pretty much biweekly, and on behalf of our national advisory business. And every time that I travel, I take the time to meet with as many people in the industry as possible. And along the way, I collected some really great friends that I always referred to as my little band of misfits, right? Because when I started vlogging and using social media, about 5 years ago, I felt like an outcast in the commercial real estate space. And all of these other folks that I was meeting along the way felt the same way. And we came together, and we, would always be very collaborative and help one another. And all of a sudden, right when the pandemic started, I said, you know what? It's about time to formalize this, because it's a movement. Again, it doesn't matter what company holds your real estate license anymore, right? And especially if you're going to give 50-40% to a big company. Oh, and by the way, you're not going to the office anymore. What are you doing, right? So I just came along and I put this group together, and then my dear friend Carrie Bob, who's an amazing human based out in San Diego, and I came together to formalize the CRE Digital Army. And what we're doing is we're helping people that understand how important digital marketing, social media, building a personal brand are. And we've created this community of folks, and we're just helping each other. And again, it's collaboration over competition. We're all from different companies, and we're all just really helping one another. And that's what I find that's so interesting in this space. Once you start to get into the cloud-based world and social media and all these other things, it's so amazing how people want to help each other.
Yeah.
And that's really, to me, again, that's my purpose. That's why I wake up in the morning, is to help other people be better. And that in turn, helps me feel better. And that's what we're doing, So with the Digital Army, we basically spent the last year during the pandemic getting everything organized. We launched last week, and we're so excited about it. We formally launched, and there's been such a pent-up demand. And the Digital Army is going to work hand in hand with eXp Commercial, because, again, we're going to welcome people in. It doesn't matter what company, what walk of life, anything. And we're going to help each other, and we're just going to help each other win. And again, I just believe it's so important for people to help develop their personal brands in order to be the best real estate agent they could possibly be.
And I love that you had that mentality way before eXp, because that's our core value. It's collaboration and it's helping. And it's so much easier for agents to come together and help each other, especially when they all own a piece of something. And you did it without that ownership. It was just, let's get together and let's truly help and have that mentality, which always equals success. Jay, I want Jim to have one last time to ask you anything he wants, but I am so grateful that you are here. I'm so grateful that we're in business together, because this is going to be an amazing ride. It's exciting. I can't wait to see what all we do together. And I think that, having you here is, Jayson Siano said it in one of our calls. He said, this is a tipping point for eXp Commercial. And I believe that. And your team is amazing. And we got to give a shout out to Rudy Camano, your West Coast brother.
Absolutely.
You're on the East Coast. Rudy was doing this stuff on the West Coast. You all didn't, you got to know each other over several months of time, and, brothers from another mother. But we all see and share the same vision, which is so important today. Jim, before we go.
Jayson, any final words to everyone that's listening in the virtual digital space? Final words?
Yeah, of course, Jim. Thank you. My final words are that, please be open-minded, because you do not want the future to pass you by. And I do want people to understand that, the best part, and Stephanie, you touched on this earlier, right? I have a lot of companies that are pursuing purchasing Sabre. And the same thing for me. I'm getting older now. I'm 44 years old. I'm getting older now, but I don't want to sell my company and go work for somebody else, right? So for me, the fact that I can maintain 100% of control over Sabre and be able to use this platform and grow it along with you guys it's a dream come true, really. It's everything that I've been doing on my own, and every opportunity that I've been looking for, you guys, just provided. So I want to thank you guys for that. And I encourage anybody to reach out to me. Again, I really pride myself in making an impact on the industry, and that's what I'm here for. I would appreciate if you guys would follow me on Instagram, because you know what, that's an important part of getting to know me. It's my name, JAYSONSIANO. You have to follow Sabre Real Estate as well. Follow at CRE_digital_army as well. And I just really look forward to getting to know and having a positive influence on more people. And most importantly, other people having a positive influence on me.
I love you, Jay. I love you.
So much.
I love
Rudy,
you.
I want to say thank you to Rudy, obviously. And by the way, when Rudy first started talking to me about this stuff, like most other people, I was like, Rudy, no, I'm not interested. Thank you. And, and then all of a sudden you realize, when you start opening your ears and digesting everything, you're like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. You can't unsee it, Jay. Once you see it and you understand it, you can't unsee it. And any entrepreneur gets it just like that. And you're an early adopter, and there's plenty more that are going to be, early adopters. But that's the real truth of it. All of us genuine entrepreneurs who are truly about building ourselves and building something together, you get it just like that. You absolutely get it.
I agree completely. But I really, truly believe that the commercial real estate industry as a whole is so tired and outdated. And, I feel like I'm carrying the industry on my back in a lot of ways. And it needs to really be repositioned and energized and taken into the future. Because, everybody understands that, that it needs to change, but it has to start somewhere. And I truly believe that this partnership right here is really going to
we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
And Jayson, we just want to thank you again for the confidence and joining us. And now you have 53,000 more on your digital army, right?
There we go.
Joining your family. And it's always about, the abundance and just gratitude. So I love that. And no wonder you fit in. I think we all attracted each other because we all have the same mindset. And it is really exciting for all of us as everyone watches out there in the digital world with eXp Commercial and our platform, and how we're growing our family truly as a family together, that we're making this big change and really helping the individual agent. I love that Jayson said that, because we all felt like that now you're joining a larger family to help you grow and build security and wealth while you're enjoying it with people that really care about you and you love the family environment. So again, Jayson, thank you so much. And my partner, Stephanie Gilezan, thank you everyone. And please watch us again and follow and like us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and follow Jayson. Listen to his stories, right? Listen to his stories. Thank you everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
'Cause this is digital discussions.